Hi everyone, we are approaching the end of my first pregnancy. It's all very exciting. In case you are new here, my name is Kat. I do motherhood, well in this case pregnancy planning, content, lifestyle, home things, days in the life. Basically I bring you along my life with me, so if you're interested in that sort of content, check out my channel for more videos. I'm currently uploading twice a week, every Saturday and Tuesday. I don't know if I'll be able to maintain that once the baby is here, but I'll do my best. But either way, if you are enjoying my videos, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like on this video. As we are approaching the end of the pregnancy, there's been a few things that I've been doing or trying to do and implement on my day-to-day life in order to prepare not only myself psychologically, but also my body, so my physical side, and also just the house in general for receiving the baby in just 2 weeks. Every time I say how long it's going, I always freak out. If you've seen some of my videos, you see I always freak out. This is my first baby, so everything is a little bit scary. But without further ado, here are 10 things that I've been doing to prepare myself, my body, and my house for labor / having a baby. The first one is that I've been applying some oil to my perineal muscle. The perineal muscle is basically the bit of skin that goes between your vagina and your back passage, like the midwives like to call it. And I've been applying a special oil made for that. You do it 3 or 4 times a week. I basically just put a little bit of my hand and then I use my fingers and I rub it on that muscle, that piece of skin down there after I shower, just so it's all nice and clean. And I do it in the evening. I shower in the evening, so in the evenings as well I do that. It gets a little bit messy and greasy, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't like the feeling of having that oil on because I feel like it's just wet down there. But I just go with mind over matter approach. I put a pad on my panties and I go to bed. And supposedly that is something that helps with preventing tears. If it works or not, I cannot tell you, but I'm sure that eventually I'll have an update and let you know if it was worth the wetness or not. Number 2 is that I've been trying to be very conscious on how I sit. My baby is currently on a position where he's head down, fairly engaged in my pelvis by the way my belly looks and the way it feels and the pressures that I feel. However, he has his back facing my back, which is not ideal. It's not terrible and it doesn't prevent a vaginal labor or anything, but it's not ideal. It causes a lot of back pain, mostly because his back is pressing on mine, so it affects a little bit of my spine. Basically just makes me very uncomfortable. But I've been told that in order to hopefully rotate the baby so that he turns around and has his back facing the front of my belly instead, is being conscious on how you sit. And I feel like this is also good regardless of what's the position of your baby. Towards the end of the pregnancy, it's important to take this in mind. So basically I've been sitting a lot on my exercise ball. I bought it on Facebook Marketplace for only £3. Sitting on the exercise ball is good because first of all it makes your back straight and then it lowers your pelvis in regards to the position of your knee. I'm not a doctor, but that's the explanation I've been given. But when I'm not sitting on the ball, if I'm sitting like at the edge of the bed right now, or if I'm sitting on the sofa, I try putting a pillow or two behind my back so that my back is straight. And basically you just want to try and avoid that lounging position and just being laying down, even though that's often the most comfortable position, but that position doesn't help with bringing the baby forward. So as much as possible, I have been trying to be conscious about how I'm sitting down, and if I see that I'm lounging, I try to remember myself to come forward a little bit. You can also sit on a chair with the chair facing the other way, so with the back of the chair here. That's also a good position according to what I've been told. But doing the bouncing movement on the ball also helps if I'm feeling a lot of pressure sometimes, even on my lower belly. Don't ask me the science behind it, but bouncing on the belly bouncing on the ball definitely helps. If I'm just on my computer or something, instead of having it on my desk because it's a bit taller, I've been using the coffee table a lot. Our coffee table has this feature where it rises, so I use that part and either sit on the edge of the sofa so I can have my back straight, or on the ball. Basically be mindful how I'm sitting and how I'm positioning my body. Number 3 is that since 37 weeks I've been collecting and freezing the colostrum. So the colostrum is the first milk, let's call it like that, that your breasts produce before the actual milk comes in. It's very thick, it's yellow, it's very rich, dense in calories, and it's supposed to be very, very good for the baby. So my midwife suggested that from 37 weeks onwards I can start to hand express it. So I do it with just my hands Usually I do it with my husband because otherwise it's difficult because you need the little syringe to collect it. So we do it together and we just do it for like 10 minutes every night. Basically you collect it in a little syringe and then I've been freezing it. I have a little Ziploc bag in my freezer. I just throw the syringes there and you can either take it with you to the hospital, which is probably what I'm gonna do, because if in the first few days the baby's having trouble latching, he's not gonna be getting the colostrum. So if you already have some colostrum, it's great. You can literally just squeeze it from the syringe directly into the baby's mouth. And I've been told, again by my midwife, that it's also good a few days later when the baby is really fussy because of that, is not really taking on the breast, to start breastfeeding. You can just literally squeeze a couple of drops of colostrum into their mouth and that should be enough to calm them down a little bit, just so you can get the position work done and get them to latch. That's what I've been told. I've never done any of this, but I've also read that expressing and hand expressing might actually induce labor. That's why they only recommend you do it from 37 weeks onward. But if you are interested in trying, definitely speak to your health provider, your midwife, whatever it is, before you do it. Don't take my word for it. They'll probably also teach you the correct way of doing it so you don't damage your milk ducts and you don't hurt your breasts and all that. Number 4 is I've been watching birth vlogs, birth videos on YouTube, specifically about births in the UK. Some people don't like hearing the horror stories. I like a nice spectrum, so I both watch the positive labor experiences as of the terrifying ones. And that's because for me, knowledge is power, people say. Usually I'm on the other spectrum. I'm on the ignorance is a bliss. But for some reason with birth, probably because I've never been through it, it's been helping me just putting my mind at ease, kind of knowing what to expect. Obviously every birth is a birth, and even within the same woman, if you have multiple babies, they're all different and you can never know exactly what to expect. But watching those videos for me has been really helping me, putting my mind at ease, seeing different scenarios, different things that can happen, different orders, as in different sequences of events, different medical recommendations, even just seeing like the hospital rooms and things like that. That really helps me. Obviously this is not for everyone. For some people it might actually stress them and do the opposite. If that's you, stay away from those videos. But for me, it's something that's been helping me be in the correct mindset and accepting that it's gonna happen to me very soon. I'm gonna go through it and it might be like the videos I've watched, it might be completely different, but at least I have an idea and I'm not entirely clueless on what's going to happen. Number 5 is organizing dog cover, in our case, and meal options for the first few days after having the baby. So we have 2 dogs and this applies if you have any kind of pet, I guess, or even if you have other kids. You need to have a way of rushing through the hospital in the middle of the night should you need to. So we've organized dog cover, and my recommendation in this, both for like pets and kids and whatever, have a plan A, but also have a plan B and a plan C, just in case things happen sooner than what you expect and the person that was supposed to do it cannot do it, or if you're supposed to drop them off somewhere, if something changes. It's always good to have multiple options, so we definitely do have multiple options for people to look after our dogs, depending on what's happening and when's happening. And then regarding the meal options, it's just having something that you don't need to worry about on those first few days or maybe even weeks after you give birth. You're going to be tired, your partner is going to be tired, your body's going to be healing, and you need to eat, but you don't want to spend hours in the kitchen cooking. So there's obviously a few options of what you can do for this. Some people like to prepare ahead meals and freeze them and just have them as freezer meals and then just pop them in the oven. We're doing kind of a variation of that. We're doing freezer meals, but I'm not the one cooking them because, like I said, I have been having a lot of back pain because of the baby's position, so it's actually difficult for me to stand on my feet for too long. So even though that was our original plan that I was going to cook, I have deviated from that plan because, you know, it's important to not damage my body now on the last stretch. In the UK, there's this meal service thing. It's called Cook. I'm not sure if I have a coupon code. I'll have a look on my account, and if I do have a coupon code, I will leave it linked down there in the description in case you want to use it. They are freezer meals, but better than the ones that you just get from the supermarket, where they're really small portions and they don't taste great, and nutritionally they're not great either. These ones, the Cook ones, are actual like normal meals, like the ones you would cook at home, but they're frozen. And you can either buy them at shops. There's a few shops around the country. We don't really have any close to us. There is a gas station that has one of those big supermarkets that has them, and that's how we first found out about those meals, and we had a few and they're great. But you can also order them from their website and they get delivered to you in a box and you just pop them in the freezer. They are obviously a little bit more expensive than the ones you get from the supermarket, but in my opinion they're so worth it. We really enjoyed all the ones that we've had, and they have options for 1 person, 2 people, 4 people. I don't don't know if they do more than 4 people, but they also have desserts, they have sides, they have basically everything, and you can mix and match as you wish. We usually buy the trays that are for 2 people, but then there's certain meals that I like and Josh doesn't, so we just get 2 individual ones and then we just cook them both at the same time, and we end up having different dinners on those days. But that's what we're doing regarding meals for the first few days. Either way, we are also supposed to have our parents staying with us for a while, so our parents will also be helping with cooking and just making sure there's food on the table at dinner time and all of that. So that's how we've organized the meal situation for the first few days. Number 6 is having the hospital bags packed. There's not a correct time on when you should do this. Some people prefer doing it at the end or more towards the end, because seeing the hospital bags packed there just stresses them out and makes time move in a weird way. For me personally, I prefer knowing that I'm ready to go whenever. So I've packed my hospital bags, I think around week 35, and that's just, again, personal preference. Inside the hospital bags, I also have a list of those things that I need to pack last minute, so that I don't need to use any brain power if I go into labor, because I don't know how it feels. I don't know if it's too painful and uncomfortable. I don't know if I'll be fine. I don't know if I'll be stressed. I imagine I'll be a little bit nervous with what's happening, but I want to reduce the amount of brain power needed for that as much as possible. So I've created 2 lists. One is inside the bag and it says everything that is still missing from there, like makeup, phone charger, things like that. And the other one is the things we need to make sure are happening before we actually leave to the hospital. I make sure we put the hospital bags in the car, make sure we are taking the car seat with us, make sure we have organized the plan B or C for dog care in case it happens earlier than what we're expecting. Again, there's no brain power required. I can just bring the list up on my phone. This is what we need to do, and we can leave. Number 7 is taking my prenatal vitamins. I've been taking them since I found out I was pregnant, and before that I was also taking some trying to conceive vitamins. So I've been taking vitamins for over a year now, I think, but I am still taking my vitamins. I take 1 a day. These are the ones that I take. They were recommended by my midwives. There's multiple different types of vitamins. Speak to your healthcare provider and see what they recommend. Number 8, and this is very different from other things that I've seen on other people's videos or things I've read online, but number 8 for me is chilling. Some people at the end of the pregnancy, they like to go on these like 2-3 mile walks every day and cleaning the whole house top to bottom and nesting and whatever. I am going through the other route of just chilling, trying to do as little as possible. It's very difficult for me. I'm not very good at delegating or asking other people to do certain tasks for me, like cleaning the house and whatever. I like being involved and I like doing the things myself because then I know they get done properly. But I've been trying to chill. Again, my back hurts a lot, and every time I try doing something, my back starts hurting after like 5 minutes, which is a great reminder that I'm not supposed to be doing that. I go on walks every now and then with Josh and the dogs in the evenings, but we do very short walks when I'm with them, and he takes the dogs on longer walks just by himself, just because I don't think that my body is asking for a lot of exercise. I know that some women do say that the longer exercises help them at the end of the pregnancy, again with engaging the baby and all of that, but in my case my body starts aching, and I don't think the correct thing for me personally is to force my body through that kind of pain. But you do you know your body better than anyone, so I'm sure that you will know what's the best thing for you to do towards the late pregnancy. But for me, it's a lot of chilling, a lot of sitting on the sofa, watching TV, reading a book, do one house task here and there, but overall I'm just trying to let go. The house is becoming a little bit messy, the floors don't get vacuumed as often as I wish, but you know, just let go, embrace the last few weeks, the last few days, and chill. Number 9, staying hydrated. I've never been a very good water drinker ever in my life. During pregnancy, I have been trying to make an effort to drink more because it's important for the placenta and for your amniotic fluid. But now, especially in the last few days, towards the very end of the pregnancy, everyone keeps telling me it's important to have your body very well hydrated for labor. That's gonna help the process and it's gonna help your body do what it needs to expel the baby and all of that. So I've bought a second sippy cup, like I like to call them, a cup with a straw, and I just rotate them through the day, and I try to drink at least 2 of those cups every day. I think each one is like 800 mils. By drinking 2, I drink like 1.5 liters of fluid. I usually drink squash because I'm not a big fan still. Ever since I became pregnant, I'm not a big fan of drinking just water for some reason. So I buy the no added sugar squash, which basically just means I'm drinking water with flavor, but it's just still water with like 3 or 4 calories. And lastly, the number 10 on my list is that I've been trying to stay on top of laundry. This is something that I've always generally done. I don't like seeing the laundry baskets overflowing, so in general, whenever they get full, I would throw a load in wash it, fold it, put it away. But obviously there's also times in life where you kind of just press the laundry down and you accumulate a little bit more before the laundry basket actually overflows. So lately I've been trying to not do that, just because you don't know when you're gonna go into labor, and on the first few days after coming back home, laundry is the last thing that I want to worry about. And yes, we do have enough clothes to survive, I don't know, 2-3 weeks without doing laundry, but I know that it would upset me and stress me out a little bit if every time I walk into the bathroom where our laundry baskets are, if I had to see them overflow. So I feel like a good thing to do is just try and keep on top of it. So every time I see that I have enough for a load, even if the basket is not completely full and I could still throw things in there without it overflowing, but I know that it's already enough to fill up the washing machine, I just pick it up, throw the load in, and this way I kind of keep my baskets empty, and that will give us extra days of filling up baskets after the birth, if that makes any sense. I know this is a really small thing to concern about, because it's gonna be the least of my concerns once I'm back home from the hospital with a baby, is if the baskets are full or not. And again, we're gonna have our parents around, so I'm sure that if I asked them to throw some laundry in, they could. But I don't know, it's one of those things that when I think to myself what makes me feel better and what helps me relax and feel like I'm on top of things, laundry is definitely one of them. So there you go. These are the 10 things that I've been doing and trying to keep on top of and implementing on my day-to-day life to be ready for the arrival of our first baby boy that is going to happen so soon. It's a little bit stressful not knowing exactly when, and that's why I think personally it's important to be ready as best as I can and as relaxed as I can and in the correct mindset, and just fingers crossed everything is gonna be okay and everything is gonna go smoothly. And yeah, just manifesting good vibes, good energy, all of those things. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and that this list helped you somehow or gave you some ideas of things you can do yourself if you're also preparing for the arrival of your baby. If you are, leave me a comment down below. Let me know when your baby's due or roughly how many weeks you have left. And I'll see you very soon here on the channel with another video. Bye!